Hello and welcome. You're listening to Bits and Pieces for the Summer Camp Newbie by me, Bethany Wright. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bits and Pieces for the Summer Camp Newbie with me, Bethany. Thank you so much for supporting me and returning and listening to all the episodes. This week's episode is all about the camp fairs. So, what is a camp fair or a job fair? So, summer camp agencies put on a jobs fair, camp fair, to bring camp directors to one place, and so many people can get hired on the spot. It's a great way for you as somebody who wants to go out and work at a summer camp to see who your potential employers could be. It's a great way to meet them in person or over Zoom. You can get like a different feeling from them. You're like cutting out the summer camp agency in a way and really digging in deep and talking about camp, about a potential place you could be living all summer with the people that could employ you. It's a really, really great way to get hired. I actually got hired. My first ever summer at summer camp was that I got hired on the spot at a jobs fair. So they work, but it's not the be all and end all. They're a great option for people out there if you can get to one, if it works with your schedule. So that's what this episode is all about today. So I'm going to walk you through how to put your best foot forward. I want to help you get ready. I want to help you potentially get placed, get hired for the summer ahead. So first things first, before you even get to a jobs fair, what should you do? So the first thing I think you should ask yourself is, what do you imagine your summer to look like? I know we've said this previously before, but this is where you really have to think about it and not just on a whim be like, I want to go to summer camp. What does that mean? I don't know. Like, really imagine what you want your summer to be like. Imagine where you want to live. Like, ask yourself these questions to help visualize what will make you happy. Because at the end of the day, you want to enjoy yourself. You want to be comfortable. You want to make sure that you're going to enjoy the experience, right? Because it's more than just a job. You cannot go home at the end of the day and leave it all at the door. Overnight summer camp, you're in it. When you want to lie down in your bed, you're in a cabin with campers and other staff members, and you can't leave it at the door. So you really have to be comfortable of where you are going to be living and working. But there are many different types of camps. Like, go back to my previous episodes where I really break down the different types of camps and their different environments, and ask yourself, like, what type of camps do you want to go to? Once you have figured that out, once you have made that decision, you then need to really specify what job role do you want whilst working at summer camp. And like I said in my previous episode, there are the three major types. There's like the counselor, a specialist, or support staff. And and if you don't know, go back to my previous episode, listen to it, and I break it down further. Because when you are meeting these camp directors for the first time, they have a list of what things they want to fill. So you can't just go, hey, what does your list say? Oh, yeah, I can do that one because XYZ. Like, they're going to come in, they're going to look at your application that you put in on your summer camp agency, and they're going to be like, okay, so according to your application, you've got skills in rock climbing. So unfortunately, we don't have a rock climbing position, so maybe you should go and look at a different camp. So you should really, really knuckle down and decide what job role you want to do whilst at summer camp before you even get to it. This is all of these things that I'm saying right now. you really should be asking yourself before you arrive at the job fair. The third thing I would suggest is do your research. Research which camps are even going to this camps fair, to this jobs fair, and like get excited about them. Go on their websites, go on their social medias. Maybe even if there is a group, a Facebook group, or some sort of a group chat that you can be like, "Hi, has anybody worked at X camp before? I'd love to hear your experience interviewing with them." And just see if their vibe matches what you're looking for. See if you can even see yourself living there all summer and working there all summer. And I would suggest making a short list of camps that you would like to speak to first and hear more about them first when you arrive at the jobs fair. Like, it doesn't have to be set in stone, but definitely like look and be like, okay, so this is a specialized camp in horse riding. I have never ridden a horse in my life. I'm not even going to go towards their stall. Okay, so that's one I don't have to go to. Oh, but this summer camp is a traditional overnight camp and they're looking for lifeguards and I've got swim qualifications. So maybe this one is a great one and one I should really like look into a bit more. Um, Planning and making the shortlist can really help direct you once you're at the jobs fair. Because from my experience, jobs fairs can be very overwhelming. And in the moment, you can be so overwhelmed that if you don't go in with a plan, you might get lost and not feel that you can best present yourself. So definitely making that short list of camps would really, really help you on the day. And then finally, before arriving at the jobs fair, I would say get your ducks in a row. Like, make sure that your online presence is the best representation of you. And because at the end of the day, this is the first impression the camp director is going to see of you before even properly meeting you. Because at the jobs fair, you say, yes, I'm going to attend. The summer camp agency will print off your application for you to have in hand. So when you sit down with that camp director, you hand it over and they read it and then they start the interview. So it is a really, really, really important thing, I believe, to go back and make sure you haven't missed anything. Like, I would even suggest uploading like a fun profile picture. Make sure all your skills and experience are accounted for on there. Because really, if you've done all those steps, it shows the camp director that you're prepared, that you're organized, and that all goes towards that first impression, which you really want in the back. At the end of the day, like, they are hiring. They're hiring you to do a job. They're hiring you to take care of children. So these little things that they'll notice of, oh, like they filled out every question, or oh, they even added a photo. That shows that you went the extra step to fill out everything fully. And that's a great first impression. So there are the 4 things I would definitely do before arriving at any jobs fair. Okay, so let's now move on. Let's move on to today's the day. Today's the day is a camps fair, is a jobs fair. And let's set the scene a little bit. So you arrive. Many people in the area are coming to do exactly the same thing as you. Interview at summer camps to get hired on the spot. It's normally taking place in a big convention hall, conference hall, maybe in a hotel in their ballroom. And there's normally between like 15 to 30 plus summer camps that all come and like set up kind of like a booth, kind of like at a university's fair. You know, those freshers fairs where like loads of companies set up booths or like sports clubs set up booths. That's the kind of vibe that we're going with at a jobs fair. So it's very interesting. Everybody has their promotional things up. Everybody might have like leaflets or maybe some returning staff members that are from the local area come and stand and like pitch and say, hey, I was there last year. Lots of very smiley people, very excitable people, people very happy to be there to talk about summer camp. And then there's a massive group of people that are in the same boat as you, as I have no idea what I'm doing. I want to get placed. I want a job this summer. I hope I get hired here today. So the first step on that day is how to make a good first impression. Okay, so make sure that you put deodorant on that day. It sounds silly to say it, but put deodorant on that day. Like, dress like yourself. Don't dress as somebody that's, I'm going for a job. Dress like yourself. Because a good impression goes a really long way. Like, have you done your hair? Have you brushed your teeth? Does your breath smell good? All of those little things like that. Number 2, I would say, is be friendly. Don't be fake, but be friendly. I know it might feel awkward, especially if you're doing it virtually. Like, okay, but you never know. Like, potentially somebody in the line or that you meet on that day, you may work alongside or even live with that summer. You never know who you're going to meet in that massive hall, in that massive convention center, that you're going to be like, oh, didn't I meet you? You look familiar. Where would I have seen you before? Oh, I got hired at the jobs fair. Oh my goodness, me too. Oh wow. And that's a little jumping off point, a little icebreaker. You never know who around you is going to be with you for the summer. So just be friendly to everybody. Also know that camps want to hire you, not the fake you. Like, be authentic, be genuine, be yourself. It's as plain and simple as that. Just be yourself. I know that's really hard to do, but you heard it in the previous episodes. The camp director, Kurt, said, like, we want to hire you. Trust us. Be yourself. We want to hire you because you are the person that we're going to be with all summer, and that's the person that the campers deserve to meet. So if the campers deserve to meet the real you, the camp directors deserve to meet the real you at the camp fair. Okay, and for the last one, during, like, even though camp directors are asking you questions and interviewing, remember, you're allowed to ask questions too. Okay, and maybe even have like a few up your sleeve just in case type questions. My personal favorite that I like to ask anybody in the summer camp industry is, what do you love most about camp? And you can tell in an instant how much they love a place by how freely they speak about where they work. If it seems forced, if they can't put a sentence together, if they cannot really articulate it, or if it comes across forced, then maybe it might not be the best environment. If someone is rattling off lots of stories, they're getting off tangents, they have so much to say that they're stumbling over their words, then you can obviously tell how much they love a place by what they're saying. So I really think that question is a great one to lead with, because it can really help you decide in that person's answer if that is a great place for you. And that is whilst you're there at the jobs fair and at summer camp, that can really tell if you get the right vibe from them. If you feel like that gut feeling of, oh, I think this could be the summer camp I want to work for, or oh, I don't think I would fit in here. Everybody is really boisterous and loud, or they're really, really into sports. And I like sports, but I'm not that competitive, so I don't think my personality will work here. Definitely, it says a lot about a person by asking that question. That's my top tip. So let's really talk about my personal experience. So, like I said, if you know my story, If you don't, go back, listen to previous episodes. I say it there. I applied in between Christmas and New Year to work at a summer camp, and there was a jobs fair in January. So I was like, great, I'll go to a jobs fair and I want to get hired on the spot. Like, I don't want to wait around and wait to be placed. Like, I want to know where I'm going. Like, I'm a very organized, prepared person. I like to know how things happen. So a jobs fair I found worked best for me. So I applied to go to a jobs fair. And this was in Leeds. And I was at University at Carlisle at the time. And so I drove home for the weekend and took the train up to Leeds. That weekend was a really snowy weekend, and snow in the UK does not go down well. I think I arrived and was at Leeds and was expecting a lot more people than there were. Don't get me wrong, there were still hundreds of people, but it wasn't as packed that I'd seen on previous photos on social media and things like that. And I think the snow deterred people away, which helped me I think helped me, because maybe I wouldn't have got placed there if more people have arrived. But anyway, you go in, you meet people from the summer camp agency, and I said, "Oh, hi, my name is Bethany." They were like, "Okay, yep, you look like the photo in your application." They look through my application and go, "Yep, you filled out everything in your application, which is great. Let me just print this off for you," which was my application. And they handed it to me and they said, "Great, you're just going to watch a short video about what we do, and then you can go out and meet camp directors." And I was like, "Okay, this is something different. I'd never done anything like this before." So I guess I was nervous. I kind of just like went with the flow, like I was in it now. There's nothing else I could do. And I went in and sat down, politely smiled at people, said hi, but I couldn't get a conversation going because after I said hi, a big video started in front of us on a big screen, and it was basically telling us what camp fairs were all about. And they said, "Oh, hi, this is what camp fairs are." They went over some rules of saying you interview alone, you can't interview as a group of friends. Just because you've got hired doesn't mean your friend will get hired. They said that you may not get hired today, and that's okay. But even if you interview for a camp and they don't hire you today, you could still be hired by them after the jobs fair. So that was really interesting, I found. And they said, "Good luck, be yourself." And the video ended, and they said, "Okay, everybody, go through these double doors, and the directors are through that way. Have a great day." And then this big group of us that have just watched this video are there with our paperwork in hand that was printed to us previously, which is basically our application that we filled online. And all the 32 camps that were there that day had their own booths up, and there were people already inside lining up, interviewing. And it was a very surreal moment, to be honest. There's people here, there, and everywhere. Some people like singing at the top of their lungs. You've got some people like making funny jokes. There's like music playing. There's lots of excitement and buzz in the room. And I had no idea where I was going. There was no map to say which camp was placed where. It was just you walk around seeing what camps you recognize from your research that I did prior. And I had a list of 3 top camps I wanted to find. It was French Woods, it was Chippenoor, and it was, I think, Laurel. I can't remember off the top of my head. They were the 3 camps after doing my research that was like, I really, really want to find these people. So I lined up for French Woods. And they said, actually, unfortunately, we don't have any spots for any dance specialists currently. We're really, really sorry, but if something, we'll get in touch with you. We've written your name down, we've got your reference. If anything comes up, we'll reach out. And I was really a bit upset because Frenchwoods was my top choice. So I went to the next one on my list. I lined up for Chippenoor. Like, the line was so fun. The people in front and behind, we just started chatting, getting to know where people were from. There were people from all over, like a lot from Manchester, lots of people that go to university in Leeds, people from Newcastle. People like ventured to come to this jobs fair in the snow. And it was just a lot of fun. I met some really fun people. I sat down with Chippenoor and we had a great interview. And then they asked me the question right at the end, is this the first camp that you've interviewed with today? And I said, a proper interview? Yes. And they said, well, I think you should go out and look around and interview with more people. And if you think that we're still the best fit for you, come on back and we'll chat with you at the end of the day. And I was like a bit put down by that, to be honest. In hindsight, they were just trying to help me. But at the time, like, I am 20 years old at this point, university student, and I got the impression and I mistook what they said and was like, they don't actually want me. That's them telling me, actually, you're not the best fit, but go and search somewhere else and you'll be fine. So I was a bit put down by that. So I ended up not going back. I was like, oh, they don't want me. If they actually wanted me, they would have hired me there and then, which was a very naive thing to think. But me at 20 years old, that's what I thought. And I went around and I interviewed with some of the places. Some places fit, some places I was like, oh no, I don't want to just do that with my summer. And then there was a booth that nobody was at, but their presentation was amazing. And I just walked over and was like, hi, I noticed no one's here. Like, what's your camp all about? And I struck up a conversation with them. And I was talking to, I didn't know at the time, I was just talking to this gentleman who had a Starbucks in his hand, and saying how this is IGC, this is International Gymnastics Camp. We're a specialised camp in gymnastics, and that's why not many people are lining up, because we just need a specific type of person. We're not looking for like general counsellors. We're looking for people that has certain skills. And I was like, okay, like what skills are you after? He was like, oh, we're looking for gymnasts, we're looking for dancers, and we're looking for videographers. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. I'm a dancer. I'm doing a musical theatre and dance degree currently. And I love dancing. And they were like, we just struck up a conversation. So another person came into the conversation and they were English. And I was like, oh, you don't sound like you're American. Do you work at this camp as well? And they were like, yeah, like I went through this process, same as you 3 years ago. And I now work full time for the camp. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, yeah, it's great. I'm originally from Newcastle. And we just struck up this conversation. It was very casual, but very organic. And it just flowed really, really well. And I felt really good about it. And at the end of the conversation, the male that I was talking to originally said, well, I'm the camp director, and I really think you'd be a great fit for our camp. We're looking for dancers to be dance choreographers for our female gymnasts. And I was like, oh, okay. What does that entail? Because if it's just, and I explained, like, some of the dance, I'm not into just dancing like step, clap. Like, I want to dance properly and teach people that want to learn to dance and be technical about it. And the camp director was explaining how the camp worked. And for me, I felt like it fit. I was like, this is great. This is definitely what I want to do. And I got hired there on the spot. And it was amazing. And at the end of the jobs fair, I got given something by IGC from their booth. And they said, okay, hand this in over at the exit, and they'll tell you your next steps. And I was like, oh my goodness, I just got a job. I just got a job. This is huge. Like, I'm actually going to America for the summer. This is phenomenal. And so I walk over with the piece of paper I just got handed, and the camp agency make an amazing big deal and like, oh my goodness, you got hired. Congratulations. And they gave me a letter to say you've been placed and it's instructions of what to do next. And they were like, okay, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye. And that was it. And that was my day at a jobs fair. And I was very lucky. I got hired there on the spot. I went through some ups and downs. I met some great people. And I got hired on the spot for my skills and who I am. And that is really, really great. My next thing is, if you get placed or not, like, congratulations. You did it. You got yourself out there. You got a taste of what camp will be like. And if you didn't get placed, it's not the end of the world, right? This is what what the summer camp agencies tell you before you go out and meet the camp directors. At the jobs fair, there's only a small number of camps that fly out to meet people face to face. But in America, there are hundreds of camps that the summer camp agencies work with that are waiting for you. And their hiring process might not even start until March, April. And that's why you might be waiting to be placed for a long time, because summer camp hiring isn't all year round at some camps. But if you do get placed, like I did, keep your eyes peeled for the next steps. It could be emails from the camp directly. It could be notifications on the camp portal, on your application from the agency. It could be any paperwork you need to do. It could be if you need to sign a contract. It may just be like people from your new workplace saying hi. Like, it could be anything under the sun. So definitely keep your eyes peeled and keep checking your emails, because email is the way that these camps are going to contact you. So definitely make sure that you're checking that email. But at the end of the day, jobs fairs are very, very unique. And they can be the start of a great adventure. So all I say is be yourself, have fun, be open to the experience, and just listen to your gut, listen to your instincts, and know if this is what you want to do, if this is where you see yourself all summer long, living and working. And make sure that you just don't say yes to the first camp that offers at that jobs fair, because there could be another great fit for you in that room. So thank you so much for listening to this episode. Make sure that you like, subscribe. If you have any job fair stories, please reach out to me on Instagram, on TikTok, anywhere. I would love to hear all of your stories too. Thank you so, so, so much, and check in with us soon. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Bits and Pieces for the Summer Camp Newbie by me, Bethany. You can find me on social media. I am Brit in the 6 on all my socials. Also, you'll be able to find me on my website where my blog is, www.britinthesix.com. Thank you very much, and see you next time.